it specifically tells you not to try this on. It's finally gonna happen. We're getting rid of Margaret. Now, Margaret has been around for a couple of years and I don't like her. No, no. She is so annoying. She doesn't get to the right proportions of a body. These mechanical parts of getting to the sizes, just a naff. Like, she's too wobbly. She's mentally and physically unstable. And I don't need her in my life anymore. So I've plucked up the courage finally to do the custom mannequin bootstrap pattern. I'm scared. I've ordered all the supplies, so I've got everything I need, apart from actually the sponge that you need for the neck. But I'm pretty sure I could probably salvage some sort of sponge from somewhere. So we're not there yet. There's a lot to get through and there's a lot to do first before we get to that point. So goodbye, Margaret. Sorry, babes. Sorry. This is the fabric that I'm going to use for the outer shell. It says in the pattern that there's like an inner support system. That's the one that they say should be in like the heaviest weight fabric. However, I'm going to do it slightly differently because I want the outside structure to be really, really solid. So I'm going to use the thickest fabric, which is this. So this is an upholstery weight sort of canvas fabric. It's not as thick as I wanted, but it's pretty tough. It's going to be fine because you actually also have to interface. Well, I think you do, from what I understand. I'm going to do it anyway because, like I said, I want it to be really, really solid. I don't want it to have any give. I don't want it to have any movement when I stuff it. I want it to be solid. So I'm going to also interface this as well as it being really, really strong. Everything's worked out really well in terms of cardboard at the minute. We have a really good supply of cardboard in the house because there are some cardboard sections. I'm jumping ahead already. So that is my outer fabric. We are good for outer fabric. I have found in my stash loads of awful fusible interfacing. I bought this a long time ago off the internet, completely ballsed it up with what I've ordered. God knows what it was. It would have been cheap and I just needed it, so I would have ordered it. It's gross. It's not cool. It's bleh, really paper. Oh! It's really papery, but it is fusible. I'm going to block fuse the whole of the outer fabric so that it's going to be really tough. I have a giant cardboard tube. Ooh, amazing. This is perfect for, it says about using drain pipe sort of piping, but I'm really not going to, because I'm going to use the mannequin stand from Margaret, because it says about using like a coat stand or something along those lines. But obviously I've got a mannequin stand as such already. This is Margaret's stand, which is fully adjustable then. Oh, it's a bit unstable, but this is the stand. And then, I mean, this is going to be cut down. Oh, ooh. But yes, it's going to absolutely fit. I can still adjust it to the height that I need for on here, and then the mannequin's going to be on this part, and then it's going to be cool. So I can make it the same height as me. It's then going to be the same body. It's then going to be the same body shape as me, and it's going to be great. In here is approximately 5 kgs of stuffing, and there's actually some more still over there as well because I ordered 6 to make sure that I can get her nice and stuffed. It's pretty decent. It's really, really nice. This has been what's cost me the most money so far out of this. So the idea is that this is going to be cost efficient, low budget, because dress forms and dress mannequins are really expensive. I haven't got £300, £400, £500, if not more, to buy a really, really good mannequin. The idea will be, it'll be completely custom to me because I have a big chest, not like that, like my rib cage is large and I don't have big hips, so I'm kind of quite straight, so most mannequins aren't really for my shape either, so this should then tick all the boxes for that in terms of, yeah, my proportions. I need to talk about the printing out of the PDF pattern. It's really not fantastic. So I made sure, obviously, you get the test piece on there to make sure that the square measures 10 centimetres. Was absolutely spot on, got it out right. That was good. And then I've printed out the rest. There were a couple of bits where I've had to slightly grade or mark where they haven't joined, where I've pieced them all together. So it gives you the plan of how to lay them out. That's fine. It's a slightly different method to how I've done it previously, but it's fine as long as you follow the instructions. So it's all pinned out. I chose to add the seam allowances on the pattern, which I think is really, really important. You're going to want to, no one's got time to be adding the seam allowances onto all the pieces. So I chose to add the seam allowance. Now, I feel like it looks like it's really small for my size. So I was really worried, but I think it's come out okay. As I said, there was a couple of bits where they've not lined up very well, and I've kind of had to check with a sewing gauge to make sure that I've kept like the seam allowance where the pieces have joined. Some of the bits were completely missing off of the print page, so I don't know whether it has printed out correctly. This is going to be a bit of a trial and error. I did check, so I'm with the neck piece. I used the neck piece to kind of work out that if it has printed okay. So I measured around my neck, and then I measured obviously like the piece here, and it does tally, it does match. So fingers crossed this is going to be right. I keep holding bits up against myself just to check, because it seems, I don't know, like I'm really worried. So this is a lower center front, so obviously that's going to go underneath the cup and then to here, and I'm like, okay, I suppose. Oh no, yeah, this is going to be this bit here, like the armpit hole. Is it it? No, maybe it's not. Upper side. See, yeah, it's going to take some brain power and making sure that I really concentrate. But first things first, I need to block fuse all of the outer fabric, cut all of the pieces out of the fabric, and then we can start the construction. Eek! Wish me luck. Pray to the sewing gods. Oh, I really, really hope that this comes out, because I've wanted one of these for so long, and I really think it's going to really make my sewing amazing for this year. I have so many plans of things that I want to do, and this is an integral part, which is why I'm starting off with this for 2024. Here we go. Curiosity got the better of me, and I wanted to see what it, I mean, Obviously it's not supposed to be like this. Is it gonna work? Or is this just an epic fail? Ah! It's gonna sound a bit different. I've sacked off my cheap microphone. I worked out that the sound quality is actually much better when I don't use a microphone at all and I just deal with the sound from my camera. So there's a slight sound change in this video. I'm really sorry, but this £20 Amazon microphone just doesn't cut it. Not good. Anyway, look how far we are along. It's so cool. I've been looking at little measurement areas as we go because I've been scared that all of this is just a huge waste of time and it's not going to fit. But weirdly, I think it's actually going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. The armholes are the hardest part to do. Really, really tricky. The cardboard bits are in. I haven't done the sponge for the neck. I need to go out and get the sponge still to stuff the neck part. None of this is coming out particularly perfect. I have a lot of puckers. I have a lot of bits that have caught, like sewing on this, like the curved bits in the seam areas is real tricky. I've made it harder for myself though because of the interfacing that I've used to get the structure. It's really thick and papery and hard to maneuver, hard to get in the sewing machine, but I think it's helped with how it's going to come out overall, hopefully. But I'm on to the next stage, which is inserting the middle supports, and then once that's in, I can stuff her. Haha! So this is the pipe sleeve, which is piece 16. Now I missed this, so I'm telling everybody, I'm telling you on here if you do it so you don't miss it. This part at the top, so that's the bottom open end where the pole goes in. This is supposed to be on the fold, so it's not two separate pieces. I've got my big cardboard tube and it tells you on the piece, so my pipe length needs to be 70.24 centimeters. I'm going to cut this and I'm going to do that with a bread knife, I think. I don't know what the diameter of my pipe is. Let's have a look. I don't know how to work the diameter out. Do you do 13 divided by 2? What's 13 divided by 2? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be. I might just have to wing it as always. That's about 2 centimeters. I'll just go by that. I'm sure it'll be fine. I need to go and cut my pipe. She's done. Ta-da! Let's talk about her. I don't know what to call her yet. So this was Margaret. I don't know why she was Margaret, but she was. She wasn't really useful. I didn't find it helpful. I couldn't really pin into her either. So that was always hard when I wanted to do like sizing to look at things. So you couldn't pin into her because it's like hard in there. So the bonus about this is I can pin really easily into every part to kind of hold pieces in and put them where I need to. I was really scared and completely imagined as I was going through that it wasn't going to come out the size that I need it to. And I'm massively impressed that it has come out bang on my sizing. So my waist measurement is exactly the same, my bust measurement and my like hip measurement has all come out exactly how they're supposed to, which I cannot believe. The neck measurement even as well is fine. This measurement from the base of the neck to the top of the shoulder. So all in all, in terms of that, I am I I didn't realise I lived near a biker gang. That's new. I'm not super chuffed with the bottom. I think I need to redo the cardboard part or put a secondary cardboard layer in. There's a cardboard part that's holding the tube in place that you glue, but I feel like that's quite far in, and I could do with like an extra cardboard piece on the bottom. So next time I've got a big piece of cardboard in the house, I think I might recut another one to sit more flat right in the base, because it was a little bit small. Now, I'd noticed on a lot of others that I'd seen pictures of before I made mine, that they all had this where it looked like it was really ripply and was pulling in. And I was like, oh, I hope mine doesn't come out like that. Maybe that's just how other people have done them. It isn't, and I've worked out the reason why. It's because of the central support panels that you sew. The front part is sewn to the front seam and the back part is joined to the back seam. The back ones come out really well, actually. It doesn't pull in as much, which is great, but this front one, it's always going to have that bit where it pulls in, which is kind of where you kind of naturally go in for like your leg anyway, so it's not too bad in terms of like how it works for sizing with the measurements. It's just the look of it just kind of looks a little bit funny compared to what other sort of body forms can kind of look like, but we can forgive it for that. The boobies aren't as rounded and as smooth, but my boobies are not like that either. So again, I can forgive her for being a bit funny in places for the boobies. So we can, the measurements is all that matters. That is the key, is the proportions and the measurements of things. I was really worried about the back at one point when I was sewing these bits, because they actually take into consideration sort of like your shoulder roundness. When I sewed the pattern, it looked like the pieces, it looked really curved, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have a hunchback. Like, how does that correlate? But it does, and it's fine. I was honestly thought I was going to end up with like a Notre Dame mannequin, and I thought, great, it's going to be a colossal waste of time, but it wasn't. It's fine. I chose the straight back option when picking the pattern pieces. I did not overstuff her, and the reason being is I saw a video on YouTube of somebody making a custom mannequin, because I did a lot of video research into this for tips and ideas, and there was a lady who made a mannequin, and she specifically says on there as well that she doesn't overstuff them, because your bodies aren't solid, so all around this middle obviously is squishy and squishy-y, so I wanted that to be the case. And it's particularly useful, it's going to be useful when it comes to me at some point this year, probably in the second half of the year. I want to explore and look at making my own corset or bodice or whatever you want to call it. So when it comes to that, you're going to want to have squishiness to imitate how the body reacts. So that is why I have not fully stuffed her so that she's solid, because you don't have a solid bum and you don't have, you know, a solid anything really. Everything is a bit squishy in places, and so that's why we've not overstuffed her. Talk about costing. So how much did this cost me overall? This mannequin was free with a subscription to a sewing magazine, and they advised that it was the equivalent of about £100. I would never have paid £100 for one of these, especially now having had one and really not liking it at all. Even more so, I would never pay £100 for one. A couple of things didn't cost me any money, because obviously I've reused the stand that came with Margaret, so that was technically free. The cardboard free, luckily I had cardboard and the tube that was adequate, so I didn't need to pay anything for those, so they were free. The interfacing, I'm counting it as being free. I technically did pay for it at some point, but it was really horrible papery interfacing that I was never going to use on actual garments, so it used it all up, which is good. I paid for this outer fabric and I paid for the stuffing. I bought 6 kilograms of stuffing. I haven't used all of it. I've probably got approximately 1.5 kilograms left over, so that was good. I've got that for another project, so I've probably used then about 4.5 kilograms of stuffing. And this fabric I ordered 3 meters of as a bundle. I used my good old pound a meter website. I use them so much for fabrics and bits and bobs. I've realized if you play around and really look at the descriptions of items properly, make sure you check the weight of things, you can get really good bargains on there. So the fabric and all of the stuffing cost me £45, which is great. The pattern itself, so the Bootstrap Mannequin pattern, so the PDF download, they were on sale for Black Friday, the end of last year, so they were half price. I think this, after it changed from dollars into pounds, was £11 for the pattern, so that was a really good price. Even full price, I think it's still not too bad, but what pushed me was the fact that they were 50% off for Black Friday, so £11. And then the sponge, I did get a sponge for the neck, and that was £1.70. So all in all, I think I worked out, I think it was £57 altogether for everything that I used. I'm really happy with that. I think £57 to make a custom mannequin is great. It's not perfect. It's never ever gonna be perfect. But she's durable, at least. That's the main goal, is that she's going to be durable with the fabric choice that I used, because I think I've used thicker fabric as well for the outer casing than you should. But I want her to be hard wearing. I want her to be able to be pinned and poked and manipulated and moved around. So I'm happy with it. Help me pick a name. I need a name for her. I'm not sure what to call her yet. So let me know in the comments what you think I should call her, and then I might give her a little cute name tag. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, to follow me along now for the rest of the year. I think she's going to really help me with all of my projects. I can't wait to get going, to be able to put pieces and pattern pieces, to see how they're going to fit. I'm hoping this is really going to fix all my fit issues that I have quite often in previous sewing projects. So she's going to be fantastic. But thanks, I'll see you soon.